Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me on another episode of How to Make the Most Out of Your Wedding Day. My name is David Esquire with Esquire Photography, and I'm down here in San Diego with a fantastic guest who is a professional florist with Katrina O'Donnell Custom Floral Designs, and she has some fantastic tips and tricks and some tidbits on how to help you save a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and preferably your sanity while you're planning your wedding or your event. Katrina, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks, David. Pleasure.
Oh, this is awesome. It was really cool for the two of us to bring our calendars together and make this happen, because I know you're like everywhere right now.
So much fun.
It is. It's awesome. Now, we've worked together recently, and I absolutely loved your personality, how you dealt with the wedding. It was Bernadette and Vlad's wedding.
Yeah, at the Casino San Clemente. Was so awesome.
It was amazing. And your attention to detail and your personality, really, it was impressive. It really was. I work with a lot of people, and I was like, oh, you need to come on and you need to share. And I'm super excited for you to share your story with our viewers. I know a bit about how you got started in the industry, but maybe you can kind of share a bit or two with our viewers on how you got started in this industry.
Well, I got started completely by accident. I like to think about it, maybe a little bit of fate was kind of thrown in there. 14, I got a job at a local flower shop, and I was totally the grunt girl. I scrubbed buckets, I washed vases, I took out the trash, and then I stripped roses. And it was really a lot of fun. And, when I got done with my chores, they'd let me play. So, the older flowers I get to kind of put in vases, and that's basically how I got my start and how I fell in love with flowers and the passion for designing.
That's awesome. And I can relate. The two of us, when we were having our meeting about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago at the Surf and Sand, and just kind of chatting and getting to know each other a little bit more in our history, and there's so many parallels.
Yeah, we really do have a lot in common as our, from what we fell in love with at a very young age and knew what we wanted to do.
And your heart is in it.
Yeah.
And it really shows in your work, and it really shows in how you deal with the client.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Can you share with our viewers as well, maybe like a thing or two that is your favorite about being a professional florist?
Well, I would have to say my first favorite is just all the great, luscious blooms that I get to play with. I mean, we have such an array of color and texture. It's just amazing. Nature is just awesome. So that's my absolute love. My second favorite thing, I think, would be when I see a bride's glowing expression. When I walk into that room, that getting ready room at the hotel, and you walk in and she sees her bouquet for the first time. It's the best feeling in the world.
And I love to be there for that.
Yes, we love it that you capture those shots, because, you cannot ever, have that happen again.
No, you can't.
It's a one-time shot.
It is. There's not a retake the next day.
No.
And I know exactly that look that you're talking about. She just lights up.
Yeah. And usually it's when she's getting her makeup done, and you're like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry,
It's so true. So true. Exactly. It's like, there's no crying in baseball.
Yeah. Or on your wedding day.
Until
before
after the pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like after the portraits, and go for it. I don't care. Now, there's a lot that goes into being a professional florist like yourself. And I'm sure that our viewers are probably thinking, oh, it's just flowers. But there really isn't. There's a lot to it.
There is a lot. Can
you share with our viewers perhaps a couple of features that is really important to hiring a professional florist like you?
Well, knowledge of the cut flowers is amazing, because it's so different than what you might grow in your garden. So hiring a professional florist who's knowledgeable about what's in season and what's available from around the world, and also hiring someone that has that kind of creative, funky edge, which I like to think I have, because I love any of that, from a small, intimate, chic little garden wedding to one like I have this weekend, which is a traditional Indian wedding where we're decorating a huge 8-foot mandap, with fire elements, and it's going to be so fun.
Oh, man. And why am I not shooting that wedding? Oh, because I'm shooting another wedding.
Yeah.
That's right. Not this time.
Next time.
Yes, definitely.
Next time.
Now, with all that, what's the advantage for our brides and grooms to hiring a professional florist like you?
I think the advantage for hiring a professional florist is really that we do this almost every weekend, so there's no worries on the client's part at all. You know, is actually for myself and my staff, you know, we take care of every single aspect that has to do with florals and even more. Straightening your linens, picking up trash on the outside, you know, making it look perfect.
Right.
And also, we love working with all the other vendors that the clients have hired, you know, caterers, coordinators, photographers. We all have one goal in mind, is to make that day the most amazing day of that couple's life.
That is poignant. That's awesome. I love how you were extremely poignant and you had a lot to share in such just a brief moment right there, but you really drove the point home. Now with our viewers watching, I'm sure they're probably wondering, well, that's all fine and dandy, but what's in it for me?
Right.
Can you share with our viewers the benefit of hiring a professional florist like yourself?
I think the benefit of hiring a professional florist is that we really know what we're doing.
Okay.
Flowers are a perishable and delicate item and need to be taken care of properly. So having that knowledge really is wonderful for the bride and groom, because they can rest assured that we can keep their blooms looking fantastic even in 100-degree weather.
Nice. That's true. That's very, very true. Wow, and in Southern California, our weather patterns are just erratic.
You know, it can rain one day and be 90 the next day. And I do a lot of work out in Temecula, and you really have to think about that because it is extremely warm there.
That's awesome. I would never have really kind of thought about that. And you've got the facility, obviously, here in San Diego, with more specifically Oceanside, to where you've got the cooler and you've got the ability to maintain all of your floral arrangements.
Absolutely. It's very important to not break the cold chain, usually with flowers.
Really?
So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
So you want to keep them cool the entire time?
You want to keep them cool. So, you know, we let them open to a certain stage. We put them in the cooler, and then we design with them. They go back in the cooler. They go to the venue in an air-conditioned vehicle, and then they open up more as we're at the venue, and then they're beautiful for the day of the wedding.
I love all this information that you're sharing with our viewers. And I'm sure that they're going to want to make the best educated decision. Can you share with them perhaps one or two different takeaways that they should keep in mind when hiring a professional florist like yourself?
I think one of the most important things is to be comfortable with your vendor, especially your professional florist. You know, they're going to create your whole vision of your wedding through color and texture and amazing blooms. And so you really need to be comfortable with them. And I think hiring an experienced and knowledgeable floral designer like myself is a good way to go.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing those couple of takeaways for our viewers. Now, let's say they wanted to pop down here in San Diego, more specifically Oceanside, to meet up with you. Can you share with our viewers where they can find you at here at your location?
You can find me off of Peacock Street in East Oceanside.
Okay.
And you can also look me up on the web. It's KOCustomFlorals.com. Okay. Or ring me on my cell phone, 760-505-3738. I answer it all the time.
I know. Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your afternoon and evening here to just kind of sit down and chat and go over some of the different important features and advantages and benefits of hiring a professional florist like yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. So there you have it, everybody. This has been another episode of How to Make the Most Out of Your Wedding Day. My name is David Esquire with Esquire Photography, and I'm joined with the fabulous, one more time,
Katrina O'Donnell.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for another episode coming in 2 more weeks where we'll be sharing with you some tips and tricks on how to save a little bit of time, some money, and preferably your sanity when you're planning your wedding. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.